Only by an optimistic thinking, okay, things may not change. We have to work on it also. I belong to a middle class family from Kerala. He removed his tie and gave it to me. If I say that Sonata is better than Accord, I'll be lying. I met him, then I went and asked him, said, do you remember me? He said, how can I forget you? You cheated me in 15 minutes. Why don't you also come with me for a drive? Then I told him, sir, I want to live a little more longer.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to RevUp with AR Pro. I'm Srikanth Rajan, founder of AR Pro, and welcome to the world's largest network of professionals from the auto industry. And RevUp is a program launched exclusively to bring in some positivity in the auto industry. The kind of challenges that we have faced with our Indian auto industry is something really big, and we are all trying to come out of it. And RevUp will help you with just that. Today, we have a fantastic personality with us. In fact, the very first episode of RevUp was with him. And being the first one, we could not have, we could not cater to large participants. And there was a request from a lot of people to join in. We had our first version on WebEx. So today we are on Facebook Live. That helps us reach to umpteen number of people. So team, all ready to see our new guest? Of course, he's not new to us. Many of you already know him. He is a marketing genius and a lot of stories and experience to hear from him. So team, let me welcome, who is that? Yes, so let me welcome Pro Ganesh Kumar Nair. So over to you, Pro Ganesh Kumar.
Thank you, Pro Srikanth. A warm welcome to all of you. Because I am doing this from Calicut, Kerala. Here, monsoon is very strong, powerful now. So even now it's raining outside. In spite of that, let me welcome all of you. And today, I think it's a very auspicious day. It is Guru Purnima. In fact, some of my old colleagues had wished me. That's how I came to know. So I wish all of you auspicious Guru Purnima today. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Pro. That was fantastic. I never knew it was Guru Purnima. However, thank you for the wishes. Team, so on behalf of all of you, I welcome Pro Ganesh Kumar to RevUp with AR Pro. And Pro Ganesh Kumar, we've heard a lot of stories about you. We know about your background, but still it would be great to understand from yourself how you started. All of us have always had a humble start in the career and we have grown to what we are today. So a lot of people in this industry want to know how you started, what was your humble beginning, and how did you come to what you are today?
Last time I had explained, so let me do this again. I belong to a middle class family from Kerala. Then after finishing my education, I started my career in Mumbai. Like all the young people during those days, Bombay was a destination for job hunting. I started my career in a logistic company, totally unrelated to what I studied or did anything. I started as a management trainee in Mumbai. Within 3 months, I was confirmed, but I knew that was not the career for me. In fact, I did not like even sales also during those days. So I started attending interviews in several companies. So wherever I went, I was told that people who interviewed me, they said that you are suitable for sales career. Even today, I don't know why they found me suitable for sales. Then I moved on to industrial electronics company, even though I did not have any idea what it was. But I was able to learn fast. So during that period, in fact, that was probably a change in my career. I got an opportunity, that is in 1979, to work in one of the largest group in the Middle East. That is, at that time, it was Suhail and South Bhavan. They had a lot of agencies at that time. See, unlike dealership, they had They were covering the entire country for Toyota and then the consumer electronics, building materials. So again, it was not Toyota that was meant for me. They put me in a division where they were handling building materials, consumer electronics, all sorts of things. So whether it was because of manpower shortage or they found that I was able to learn quick, I was put in all departments. In fact, very recently I started making a count of which are the departments or which are the products I handled there. So I found that list was very exhaustive, and except maybe a ship, a plane, and alcohol, I have handled everything there. Cement, GI sheet for Bangladeshis, then wire nails, hardware materials, anything. In fact, the list is very exhaustive. I was also, in fact, I had a boss there who used to tell me, don't worry, they used to call me Kumar because in the Gulf, Ga cannot be pronounced. They pronounce it as Ja. So instead of making it Janesh, my boss said, just put Kumar in your card. So for a long time, I was known as Kumar there. So maybe the management is preparing for a general manager's position. Those days, the concept of CEO, HR, and all those things were not there. And then after a couple of years, I came back to India, again joined back in a industrial electronics company, again in Mumbai itself. During that time, we had some overseas German products also. I was discussing with a big group of companies about this. Then the director of that company had a long discussion with me. Then he moved aside the brochure and then he said, Mr. Kumar, there is an interview going on in the adjacent room from a company in Oman. Would you be interested? So I told him I have already had a small, 2-year stint. If it is attractive, let me see. So I got up and then he said, okay, then I will take you to that adjacent room where the interview is going on. So I was walking towards the room. Then he said, wait. I asked him what happened. So see, I always, I'm not used to dressing formally those days. It used to be a folded sleeves and without a tie or any such decorations. So he said, wait. Then he removed his tie and gave it to me, this person, and said, unfold your sleeves, make it, put on your cuff buttons, and then attend the interview. So I attended that, went inside, and then 3 of them, a director, personnel and admin manager, and general manager was there. 3 of them attended, and then I thought it was a good option, and then I joined there. There again, it was not automobiles. I was earlier selling air conditioners. First, it was window air conditioners, National and Panasonic, then followed by split air conditioners. So that again, I did not know, in fact, heat load calculation and all those things. But meeting consultants there or architects and all, I was able to learn that also. But then during that time, I found that, this Arabs, Omanis, when they build a new house, I was focusing on that particular segment because if I get a villa, my two to three villas, my target for the month will be completed. So I started focusing on that particular segment through architects, and then where there is a concentration of villas being built. But then I found that the Omanis, when they move to a new house, unlike other, like us, we carry our old things and all. They don't take any old things there. They just, everything will be new for the house. The furnishing, the curtain, everything. Then I found that they buy a new car also at that time. So this data I started collecting, and then I started interacting with our automotive division. That's how, in fact, I got first inducted into this automobiles. So 10 years, I was there with my family. My daughter also was studying there. We had decided, children have a very, very, they don't have much interaction outside. Only within a small group. So we thought that, by the time she's in 7th or 8th standard, we should return. So the day I completed 10 years with this company, we returned to India. And then in India, that my first assignment in automotive, that was I met a person in a train. In fact, not me. In fact, my wife was traveling in a train, and then she has a habit of talking to people sitting beside. Even I, but I don't normally communicate with anybody. But then she met a person. Then she came to know that this particular company, they are looking for a general manager for their company within Calicut itself. At that time, again, since my parents were also aging, I was also looking for an opening within Calicut. So I attended the interview. Probably that was one of the biggest interviews, where an interview panel of almost 20 people, but all questions were asked by only one person. And there were about 40 candidates for this job. I finished the interview, then came 2 days later, they called and said, "You are selected. Please visit their Cochin office for finalizing everything." And everything was finalized. My only condition was that, I need a vehicle. So they gave me a Tempo Trax. In fact, that was the third vehicle second vehicle which I had in India itself. And that was the first diesel vehicle which I was using. And I never knew how to operate a diesel vehicle. So the key was handed over to me. Nobody explained to me anything. I started using the car as usual. After about a week, the vehicle stopped. It did not start. I called my service manager and told him my car is not starting. And at that time, the company service engineer also was there. Both of them rushed to my house. And then I saw them pushing a button. So then I asked him, "What are you doing? What is that button?" Then they asked me, "So how do you start this car regularly?" I said, "I just start just like any other car." Then they said, "No wonder why it is not starting." Then they explained to me there is something called a glow plug. You have to keep it pressed for some time. It will become red after some time, and then only you should start. That was something new. That is how probably I learned the first lesson in a diesel vehicle. I think this feature is no more there in the new generation diesel vehicles. It's an old feature. I think most of the vehicles will automatically, it'll warm up and it'll start. So from this company working here, that was 2-3 years I worked. It was a group where they had Bajaj Tempo, now known as Force Motors, then Kinetic Honda two-wheelers, and Escorts tractors. We did quite well, but then the family, they were not interested in continuing the business. So they wound up the business, and then I met a person who was earlier with Bajaj Tempo, but later joined Hyundai. He asked me whether I'll be interested in outside Kerala. I said Hubli. Hubli was known to people in Calcutta, but Hubli nobody knew, in fact, in Karnataka. I said Hubli. I said, okay. So I went for an interview with the Hubli Hyundai dealership. It took about, it was on a Sunday. I liked the place much more than anything else, especially the weather was so good. It was like sitting there, it was like an air-conditioned showroom where there was no air conditioning at all. So I called up my wife and I said, we'll move. So my movement started, I think, from that day onwards. In fact, some astrologer had once described that I have wheels under my feet. That's why I keep rolling. So that was the first major, you can say multinational company, multinational brand where I started working. Then from there, my next assignment was in Vijayawada Toyota dealership. Then again in Hyundai in Coimbatore. Then I started an automotive management academy in Calicut for one of the dealership groups. At that time, that was probably the first of its kind in India. And that was the time I learned a lot. Preparing curriculum and the contents for this academy was helped me to learn much more details than I knew working on the job. And then during that time, again, I got a call. Many people used to ask me, why you keep changing jobs? I said, it is not done by me. When people call me, And then they asked me, okay, can you come and join and assist us in turnaround or maybe starting up? I got a call from Mysore. That was a General Motors dealership. That dealership I had to start from construction onwards. In fact, I was told that it's already ready. By March, you should start up. When I went there, nothing was there. Not even the foundation. So within 4 months, we were able to, it was a prefab construction, we were able to erect it up and everything. We started, and those days in Mysore, that was probably the best facility in Mysore area. Mysore is not actually a four-wheeler market. It's at that time, it's a two-wheeler market. And then slowly other dealerships and all came in, like Palace Toyota, many of the dealerships came in after that. So from Mysore, again, I came back to Hubli, Toyota. How it happened is that when I was in Hubli Hyundai, I had sold a car, Sonata, to the local dealer principal there. That itself is again a big story. I had just joined Hyundai in the dealership, and then my boss said his friend, the Toyota dealer, has booked a Sonata. Please go and deliver it. It was on during Dasara period. When I went with the car, it was nearby. Went with the car. They were doing some puja. I waited outside. When they came, saw the car. Then he said, we had booked it for Diwali delivery. You're bringing it for Dasara. Cancel it. I did not know what to do. Came back and told my boss, sir, this is what happened. He was, for some reason, he was furious and he started shouting at me. I said, sir, don't worry. I'll see that this car is taken by him. Next day, I took an appointment with the same director in the Toyota dealership. He said, convince my wife, I'll take the car. Then I asked him, sir, where do I come? He said, come to my house. I did not know. I took one of my colleagues and went to his house next day. And then he came out. I said, sir, please take a drive. So he got in and he was about to drive. Then I said, sir, you said to convince your wife, I need madam also to sit in the car. So that lady also came. And their son also was there. Three of them, they put in the car. They started taking a drive. I waited outside. About 10-15 minutes later, they took a round and then came. When I looked inside the compound, they had a almost new Honda Accord parked there. In fact, this person had a fancy for cars. I think every 6 months, 1 year, he used to buy cars. So he got out of the car. Then I asked him, sir, what do you think? Madam also I asked. So he said, Ganesh, what do you think? My Accord or your Sonata, which is better? So I told him, sir, if I say that Sonata is better than Accord, I'll be lying. But you have been using this Accord for the past 6 months. You have taken just one round in this vehicle. And look at all the people in the neighborhood watching you from their balconies. Has it ever happened to you when you were driving your Accord? He just smiled, went inside, and then he came out and said, deliver Madi, deliver the car. So that probably he remembered me because of that. And even much later when we had a Toyota meeting in Hyderabad, I met him. Then I went and asked him, said, do you remember me? He said, how can I forget you? You cheated me in 15 minutes. That was the reaction from him. And then later, I never knew that later I'll be working for this company. So from Mysore, I joined this Toyota dealership in Hubli, which was a very fantastic experience for me. The turnaround itself is a milestone in entire Toyota, where within 6 months we were able to turn around that dealership. In fact, last time I had shared those stories, how it happened and all. Since today the subject is different, I don't know whether I should repeat those stories. So
that's not required probably, but yes, that one interesting story is something people would always want to repeat.
Okay.
The discount one. The 2000 rupee note.
Okay. There, in fact, we always discounting is a big thing, not only in automobile industry, but in any kind of business. So one day, in fact, when I was sitting in my cabin, a consultant called me from down. Sir, there's a customer here who is not asking for any discount. It's really surprising. So immediately I came down, introduced myself, and then I asked the customer, sir, I'm just curious. People normally either they come to me or they fight for additional accessories, discounts. You are the only person probably I have come across in my career who is not even asking for even a mud flap or mattings, because no car is delivered without mattings or mud flap. That had become later a standard fitment. So he just smiled and he said, I'll tell you why. He said, I was attending a party hosted by your co-dealer. I don't want to use the word competitor. It was a Maruti dealer. He was a dealer principal. He said he had a Grand Vitara, then Audi, Mercedes, all sorts of cars. Then he said, whenever I travel long distance, I use Innova, because one reason is because it is very comfortable, then it is fatigue free. Even if after I drive long distance, if I have to attend a wedding or anything, I can straight away get out of my car, change my clothes, and then attend the wedding. So for all my long distance, I use my Innova. Then he said, what more do I want than a testimonial from your competitor for buying this car? Do you think I should ask for any accessories or any discount? That was some out of the blue, some kind of experience for me. So without asking, in fact, I offered him some accessories and other things. Happily, he went away. But what was important was that I was using the story as a testimonial, which even I have explained to my team also. Use this story as a testimonial. You can get a lot of benefit from this, which I have done. Even as long as I was selling a Toyota, I was using this as a testimonial. I don't know where this person is now, but this kind of testimonials, even now, that's what I tell people. See, when we talk, it becomes a salesman talking about your product, but a customer giving this kind of an experience, which becomes a real testimonial for you to support your whatever you are doing. This becomes an additional support for you to win it. So that was what it happened. And in Toyota itself, after the turnaround happened, a team of people came from TMAP, Toyota Motors Asia Pacific, and they studied what really happened in Toyota, or what was the best practice that we did. And they created a team called Project Zero, where from zero to wherever you want to go. So they have two things. One is DESI, Dealer Expectation Standards, India, and the Toyota Way. So last time I had told also the team, if you really want to come up, read the book Toyota Way, written by Professor Laiker, the Toyota Way. It really explains the 14 principles of Toyota and the processes which you find in Toyota. I am not belittling other OEMs, but you cannot find in any other. Having worked in with other brands, I can very confidently say that you cannot find that kind of process or strict adherence to the process. And process brings excellence. That's what I believe.
That's in fact probably a big Toyota fan behind you saying that. No, I've also heard a lot about Toyota. In fact, the way the process is maintained and all that. In fact, that's fantastic. And I still remember the story which you told me. The way you turned around the dealership of Toyota in Hubli. Yes. A dealership which was just selling about 30 cars, if I'm right?
15.
15 cars. Yeah, a dealership which was just selling about 15 cars a month was transformed to something that sold a target. I would like you to just tell that story to us.
Okay. In fact, when I joined Toyota, I did not know what was the current exact status. I was selling in Mysore, General Motors, basically Tavera at that time. Tavera was the flagship vehicle at that time. So because of that, I used to keep track of what's happening in the B and C class cities, including North Karnataka. So Toyota was selling around 15 to 18 vehicles. Qualis was doing well, but somehow Innova did not catch the imagination of the customers, and it was not doing well. And that was the time when they called me. So they said, what do you think will be, how many cars do you think you can sell? I said, I cannot say how many I can sell unless I meet my team, work in this dealership. But there is a potential to do at least 35 vehicles. So they repeated, are you suggesting that you can sell 35? I said, no. I'm saying there's a potential to do 35. Finally, they accepted me. It was sometime in September 2007. And then they had given me a Corolla for use. That vehicle was in service. I have traveled in Innova, but never driven in Innova at that time. And I was going for lunch in the afternoon. My house was very close. It's about 1.4 kilometers from gate to gate. So while on the way, there was a rough patch. But while driving this Innova, the vehicle has already done more than a lakh of kilometers. I felt it was as good as new. So first thing I call most of the time I used to be very late for lunch. So I called my wife and told, I'll be late for lunch, maybe another half an hour. I parked the vehicle on the side and then called up the zonal who was handling our dealership. And then I took permission to talk to him for another next 20 minutes. He said, yes, go ahead. I said, son, I'm planning an event in Hubli. Meanwhile, I had made notes, what to call the campaign and all those things. So he said, what's the campaign? I said, we have a vehicle which has done a lakh of kilometers. I'm going to hire a Scorpio and a Tavera which has done around 25,000 kilometers. And all the three I'm planning to give test drive in our area. North Karnataka is a very vast area. On one side, it is Gulbarga, Bidar. Even the language, culture, everything is different. And on another side, again, bordering Andhra, Bellary. And the other side, you have Belgaum, Maharashtrian culture. Even you have to advertise in a Marathi paper to get your attention there. So these three vehicles. And then the campaign we are going to call the Incredible Innova Challenge. So he was silent for some time. Then I asked him, what happened? Did I say anything wrong? He said, no, we are expecting somebody to come up with this kind of campaign. How much will it cost? He asked me. I said, it will cost around 1.5 lakhs for a period of maybe 2 months. He said, straight away, he said, you send me, see in Toyota, there's a concept called PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act. Which is very useful, in fact. So he said, you send me the PDCA report and I'll verbally, I'm giving you approval straight away. We'll give you 70% of the support straight away. So after lunch, went back and then called my team, arranged these vehicles. We started the campaign, in fact, in late September itself. The instruction to the team was, don't say anything bad. Even in our ad, which was the caption was the Incredible Innova Challenge, we did not show any competition and never say anything bad about the competition. Give all the three vehicles to the customer and show the odometer. That's all. And write down verbatim, whatever, whether it is English, Hindi, Kannada, whatever the customer says. So the first customer itself who drove the vehicle, after seeing the odometer, said, my God, this vehicle has done more than a lakh of kilometers as good as new. We did our next advertisement using this customer VOC, voice of customer. And then another thing which was important was that there was people thought that Innova was a much costly vehicle compared to Tavera or Scorpio. Those days we had a vehicle where there was a variant called Innova E. We used to call it evil because this vehicle did not even have a power steering. And I was stuck with two vehicles. I had to sell off this vehicle after buying second-hand retrofitment of the power steering and then dispose it off. Anyway, fortunately, after that, these vehicles were discontinued by TK. So this continued, and then in September, we closed 20. Next month, we did 35. And then it continued month after month. Finally, when we touched, within 6 months, when we touched 76 vehicles. So the day we touched 76, I called my boss and told him, sir, we are crossing 70. So the target was 30, 35 that month. He said, very seriously, are you joking? I said, sir, I definitely joke, but not with you. He went offline. Then I called my other boss, madam. I said, madam, we are crossing 60. She always has a habit of, that kind of remarks. Oh, really? She also went offline. After some time, my boss called again from Bangalore. He said, TKM officials called me just now. They said, you're crossing 60. I said, sir, that was what I was telling you. It is not 60, sir, it is 75. Again, he went offline.
Oh, my God.
After some time, I called again, madam. By that time, the team was ready with the fireworks and all those things. And I asked madam, it is not a joke. Just listen to this celebration here. She was traveling from Goa to Hubli. So the rest is history. In fact, after that, we were able to do on an average. At that time, there was only one branch, one head office, that was Hubli. And the rest of the area was covered by resident executives, Belgaum. I think now they have got, well covered. They have in Belgaum. I think some other parts as well. I'm not very sure. But on an average, we were able to do 60 vehicles till 2008 when the recession started. Even because of the activities, the recession was there. We were affected by the recession only for 3 months. Even during that time, even Mr. Nakagawa, who was the MD, he had also visited the facility. He also told the same thing. Probably you are the only people who are not affected by the recession. It is because of the activities which you have been doing, even during a downtime. And this was presented to their dealer panel, where all the top dealers and the vice chairman, Vikram Kirloskar, Nakagawa-san, Babu Mupan from Nippon Toyota, they were all present. So we did a presentation saying that from 15 to 75, a success story.
Amazing. In fact, a dealership which used to sell just about 15 cars a month, taking it to 75 cars a month. That's something really amazing. And you also spoke about the recession, how the recession never affected you, or it was a very small effect that had due to the recession. Can you explain us what are the kind of activities that you had actually done during the recession, and how it could, you would not allow the recession to hit you?
One is during recession. See, the basic concept is, even if you sell, maybe during a recession time, even at least you will sell at least 15, 20 vehicles. But service is your backbone. Service will always continue. See, there is a KPI, service absorption ratio, which probably many dealerships are ignoring now. I think OEMs are putting pressure on dealerships to focus on this. If your service absorption ratio, or people call it as SAR, if it is 80, you can say 80%, then you can say it is around your dealership is healthy. But if it is above 95%, then that is the top. So we were mainly focusing on the service during that time, because we knew that even if it is 10 vehicles are sold, these vehicles will come back to us for service. So that it was not, our revenue was not affected. We have not retrenched even any single person or any kind of effect. Even during that time, in fact, we had added our manpower. So this focusing on service absorption ratio was the main thing. And then we were in the top 3 pan-India during that time in achieving this service absorption ratio, which was studied by TKM. In fact, we also did not know that we were in this side. What we did was, without looking at the results, we continued to focus on that. Then one day this message came saying that we have been studying your service absorption ratio and it is in this particular level. After that, in fact, we started knowingly focusing on the service absorption ratio. And that's how the revenue continued to improve. And
fantastic. In fact, this is something new. How many of you are aware of service absorption ratio, SAR? If you are aware, please type yes. If you're aware, please type yes. If you want to know more about SAR, please type SAR. If you want to know more about it, please type SAR in the comments and we'll ask Pro Ganesh to explain it to us. Okay, so there are quite a few people commenting there. They want to know what is SAR.
Okay.
So Pro Ganesh,
yeah. Your all expenses, your expenses should be covered. The way your business should continue, where all your expenses should be covered from the revenue which you are getting from service. That is in a nutshell. That is the policy. That means whatever, because during this period, you will not get any other, even though there are several avenues of revenue, you will not be getting much dealer margin, because vehicles, when it is not sold, vehicles may be discounted. So dealer margin will be less, accessories may not be there, total number itself will be less. But then if you are able to absorb all your expenses from the service revenue, that is the time your service absorption. That means, see, in a literal sense, service absorbs all your expenses. That is
so does it include sales expense also?
No, sales will be separate from this itself. That means whatever you make in sales will be your, it will add on to your bottom line. All your cost, everything has to be absorbed by this. In fact, if we run a session on different KPIs, sales and service KPIs, we can in detail explain what are the KPIs, basic KPIs that they should follow. Okay. And there is no better process than KPIs of TKM. In fact, there is a person called Jeff Smith in UK. He is known as the father of KPIs. According to him, recently I was interacting with him in LinkedIn. According to him, there are 250 plus KPIs in automobile industry.
That's amazing.
So recently, when I was trying to develop this artificial intelligence and machine learning, I was interacting with him. I asked him, Mr. Jeff, can you tell me which are the important KPIs so that I can focus on them? He started laughing. So are you suggesting this? There are important and non-important KPIs. He says all the 250s are important. But it is humanly impossible to track all the 250. But he says yes. In fact, recently he has been touring in many places, including, I think just before this COVID-19, he was in the Gulf region itself, touring and explaining the importance. The only problem is following him. Of course, I have got some of the details with him. Buying his book, I tried a couple of times to buy his book. The book itself is costing around 30,000 rupees.
Oh my God.
And it is available. It is not available. In fact, I requested Amazon to get me the book. By the time the book, I got the message, and then I logged into Amazon, the book was already gone. There's only one copy available. Again, in fact, I have requested them, please try and get a copy. Otherwise, you will have to order it into UK and then get it. Because
what is the name of the book again? Probably for benefit of all of us.
KPI, Automotive KPIs.
Automotive KPI by
Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith, you will find.
That's fantastic, guys.
JEFF-SMITH, Jeff Smith.
So I hope all of you have noted it down. All of you have noted the name Jeff Smith, Automotive KPI. If you have noted it down, please type yes. If you want to be repeated, please type repeat. It is Automotive KPIs by Jeff Smith.
If you Google him, immediately you will get it, Jeff Smith.
Okay.
It's a very, he is in the automotive industry there. He is like Amitabh Bachchan and Shah Rukh Khan in our film industry.